Good afternoon, everyone. Atlantic Broadband Cable, in cooperation with the South Union Township Supervisors, presents the South Union Township Sports Network. Today, via tape delay from the Upper St. Clair Sports Complex in Upper St. Clair, Pennsylvania, it's the Laurel Highlands Mustangs taking on the Ambridge Bridgers in a first-round WPIAL playoff game. Hi, everyone. This is Gary Frankhauser along with Daniel Wallace and Jerry Dupay. We welcome you aboard for today's high school WPIAL playoff baseball action. The South Union Township Sports Network coverage is brought to you as a joint cooperative venture featuring Township Supervisors Bob Schiffbar, Rick Vernon, and Jason Scott, Atlantic Broadband Cable, Armstrong Cable, and CUTV with Gary Smith at the helm. Once again, this is Gary Frankhauser, Daniel Wallace alongside Jerry Dupay on the camera. We'll be right back with the starting lineups for both teams after these messages. Here's your starters for the homestanding Laurel Highlands Mustangs, the number one seed in AAA and WPIAL playoff action. Leading off and playing in right field, number 2, Lucas Boyle. Batting second and playing shortstop, number 5, Troy Kiefer. Batting third and playing center field, number 11, Hudson Novak. In the fourth spot, number 14, Don Peroni. He's at third. Batting fifth, the catcher, Zach Uhazy, number 9. Number 24, Rich Pish, is out in left field. Number 22, Garrett Kopich, is the designated hitter. In the 8th spot, number 25, Chad Pillar at first base. And in the 9th spot, number 6, Daniel Zukulkowski, he's at second base. Lucas Paul is on the mound for the Mustangs. Looking at the starting lineup for the Ambridge Bridgers, leading off and playing in right field, number 21, Kevin Holman. Batting second, number 22, in left field, Jarrett Lunard. Batting third, number 3, Trey Thomas. He's at third base. Batting fourth, number 18, Austin Walker, the shortstop. Batting fifth, number 34, Jacob Marati. He's at first base. Batting sixth, number 25, Alex Fetkovich. He's playing in center field. The pitcher, number 16, Travis Holman, is in that 7th spot. And batting eighth, number 7, Noah Kronkoko. He's at second base. The designated hitter is number 6, Michael Mellar, and he is the designated hitter for the catcher, Anthony Morelli. He is number 4. Those are our starters. We're just about ready for WPIAL baseball action here on the South Union Township Sports Network.
Good luck to the Mustangs from the South Union Township Supervisors, Rick Vernon, Jason Scott, and Robert Schiffbar.
Batting fourth, the shortstop, number 18, Austin Walker. Batting fifth, the first baseman, number 34, Jake Marati. Batting sixth, the center fielder, number 25, Alex Fetkovich. Batting seventh, the pitcher, number 16, Travis Holman. Batting eighth, the second baseman, number 7, Noah Krokonko. And batting ninth, the designated hitter, number 6, Mike Meller. For the catcher, number 4, Vinnie Morelli. The Ambridge Bridgers are coached by Sean Holman, who is assisted by Don Sonway and Craig Wittrick. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the starting lineup for today's home team, the Mustangs of Laurel Highlands High School. Batting first and playing right field, number 2, Lucas Boyle. Batting second and playing shortstop, number 5, Troy Kiefer. Batting third and playing center field, number 11, Hudson Novak. Batting fourth, the third baseman, number 14, Dom Peroni. Batting fifth, the catcher, number 9, Zach Uhazy. Batting sixth, the left fielder, number 24, Rich Pish. Batting seventh, the designated hitter, number 22, Garrett Kopich. For the pitcher, number 15, Luke Ball. Batting eighth, the first baseman, number 25, Chad Pillar. And batting ninth, the second baseman, number 6, Dan Zukulkowski. The Laurel Highlands Mustangs are coached by Jim Jaskowski, who is assisted by Kurt Cairns, Clark White, and Ross Insana. The officials for today's contest are at home plate, Brian Gillespie, at the bases, Jason Faulkner and Joe Dodaro. Ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please stand, and gentlemen, please remove your caps as we honor this great nation and the men and women who are keeping this country safe with the playing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad sides and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the hope of the
All right, Nick, you can come back whenever.
That's it. You too. Song is not right.
We're back on 590 WMBS and the MSA Sports Network. Laurel Highlands and the Ambridge Bridgers about to get underway as the Mustangs have just taken the field. And on the mound, Luke Paul, the senior for the Laurel Highlands Mustangs, 33.2 innings, 33 and a third, 2/3 innings of work for him, a 0.83 ERA, 5-0 record in 9 appearances. He's only allowed 16 hits this year, only 4 earned runs, and this is the number that boggles my mind, Gary. A 14-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio for Luke Paul. Unbelievable, and he has been so controlled. His, really, he walks very few batters, and that is huge in the high school baseball ranks, that he is able to control his fastball and his breaking ball and really throw it in any part of the count. He also changes speeds very effectively. That is 43 strikeouts for him on the year, only 3 walks for him in 9 appearances on the mound. His control has been impeccable, by far the best we've seen out of any pitcher in the WPIAL, not just for the Laurel Highlands Mustangs this year. And that is always a menu for success, control in the high school game, not giving up those extra base runners with walks, and really making the other team earn everything throughout the entire game. And the impressive thing is, too, he also pitches to contact. He's got barely over a strikeout per 9 innings. And that's a testament to the Mustang defense, which has also been very strong. We're ready for action. So leading things off for the Ambridge Bridgers, it's going to be Kevin Holman, the senior right fielder for Ambridge. 366 average for him on the season as he leads things off.
Paul out of the windup. First pitch, we're underway. A breaking ball across the heart of the plate for strike one.
This first inning being brought to you by Davis & Davis Attorneys at Law, helping local people with their legal matters since 1976. Regardless of your legal problems, Davis & Davis promises you personalized, friendly hometown service.
Second pitch, grounded right back to Luke Paul on the mound. He corrals it and throws on to first base for the first out of the inning.
So, good start for Luke. Really not much on that one. A two-hopper back to the mound, and he very adeptly got it over to Chad Pillar for the first out.
That brings up senior left fielder Jarrett Kennard for the Ambridge Bridgers, a .258 hitter on the season. 16 for 62 on the year, 3 extra base hits for him. First pitch from Paul, a fastball on the inside corner for strike one.
Another part of that control allows the pitcher to work in front of batters and really dictate what he wants to throw. Beautiful sunshiny day here in Upper St. Clair. Welcome sunshine after the many days of rain.
Second pitch of the at-bat, also a strike. So 4 pitches, 4 strikes so far for Luke Paul. And now Jarrett Kennard down in the count. No balls and 2 strikes.
Kennard looking at those first 2 pitches, maybe trying to see if he could get
0-2
Luke
lifted
Paul
out into right field. After it, Luke Boyle. And he'll squeeze it for out number 2.
Luke made that look very easy, but it was well over to his left, almost to the foul line. He had to run a good 30 yards to get that ball and just coasted to it.
Not to mention with a right-handed hitter, the ball tailing away from him as it headed towards the fence. That brings up the number 3 hitter now for Ambridge, Trey Thomas, the third baseman. Thomas, a senior for the Ambridge Bridgers, can play both corners on the infield, also a pitcher for this Ambridge team.
And Luke making him wait at the plate that time, forced him to call timeout.
.333 average on the year. First pitch swinging, Thomas grounds it to Kiefer at short. He'll throw on to first base. 1, 2, 3 go the Ambridge Bridgers. Takes only 6 pitches for Luke Paul to get him out in the top half of the first inning. We go to the bottom of the first. Your score, Ambridge, no runs. Laurel Highlands coming to bat. It's a law firm of Radcliffe and Diaz High School Sports Day on 590 WMBS, the MSA Sports Network, and the South Union Township Sports Network.
Inferior, that simple fact is plainly obvious to see. We're gonna kick your collective posterior. Of course you realize we're speaking figuratively. Our stats are thoroughly impressive. Our coach really has a vital touch. Our players are fast and strong and brave, and your guys, not so much.
WMBS, the MSA Sports Network, the South Union Township Sports Network, Laurel Highlands and Ambridge. Round 1 of the WPIAL Class AAA baseball playoffs. Ambridge nothing across in the top half of the first. It only took Luke Paul 6 pitches to get through the top half of the first inning. And now we see the man on the mound for Ambridge, Travis Holman. A 0.40 earned run average, a 7-1 record.
Not a big guy. He looks like he's not going to be a power pitcher, as we said earlier, but you got to believe he has some very good control also.
Holman, only a junior, one of 2 Holman brothers, a senior. His brother out in right field, Kevin Holman, and that brings up Luke Boyle, the first Mustang to face him, and he takes a strike on the outside corner.
Up on the grass, both at first base and at third base. Ambridge looking for the possible bunt to lead things off. Lucas has done that throughout the season.
Second pitch across as well for strike 2.
Breaking ball that time, just caught the outside corner. And you can see it is a sharply breaking curveball.
.419 hitter on the year, Luke Boyle. We see 400 numbers up and down this lineup. Boyle, Kiefer, Dom Peroni, all hitting above 400 as Boyle takes a close pitch for ball 1. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 9 pitches deep. That's the first ball we've seen from either pitcher.
Wasn't quite as close as the fans thought.
The 1-2. Boyle grounds this one to short. Walker there for it. He'll pick up, throw off balance. Across the diamond, and he got him. A beautiful stretch by Jacob Marotti at first base. Retires the speedy Luke Boyle.
half a step, and give credit there to the Ambridge defense. As you said, Marotti with the stretch over there at first resulted in the out call by half a step.
I'll bring up Troy Kiefer for the Mustangs. We saw one slick fielding shortstop there, Austin Walker. Well, Kiefer, one of the best high school players I've ever seen with the glove out there at shortstop as he takes a first pitch breaking ball outside for ball one. 477 average for Troy Kiefer, highest on the team. As the 1-0 sent out in the left center field. That one's going to split the gap. Kiefer, he'll round second, head for two, and he's in there with a one-out stand-up double. Troy Kiefer, as he ignites the Laurel Highlands Mustangs offense, the first hit of the ball game.
That ball just ripped into left center field and really died out there in the grass, a thick grass here at Upper St. Clair. Running over to make the play, Alex Vetkovich in center field, but no problem with Troy Kiefer scooting into second with the one-out double.
That brings up the very dangerous bat of Hudson Novak, 377 on the year with 5 long balls. Kiefer with his lead off second, first pitch, outside ball one to Hudson.
Got to believe that Holman will be careful with Novak. Scouting report has to have him concerned about the power of Novak.
Only player in the starting lineup, not a senior for the Laurel Highlands Mustangs. Second pitch comes across. There's another breaking ball, catches the inside corner, goes to 1-1.
Be surprised if Hudson sees anything straight.
Kiefer with a substantial lead off the second base bag.
Big holes between third and short, and also between first and second.
1-1 to Novak, down in the dirt, blocked by Morelli.
Another breaking ball.
Count goes to 2-1. The heart of this Mustang lineup, very potent. Novak and Peroni each with 5 home runs on the year, and then Zach Uhazy is no slouch with the bat himself, a .393 hitter. Novak on 2-1, fouls one back into the backstop.
Fourth breaking ball that he's seen, and that was a nice curveball that time by Holman, just tied Hudson up.
2-2 count for Hudson Novak, one out in the bottom half of inning number 1. 2-2, and Novak, he'll spoil another one away.
Protection mode there by Hudson Novak. That ball out of the zone, low and outside, but he went down and fouled it off to the right side.
Count stays at 2-2. Both the shortstop Walker and the second baseman Krkonko shading towards the second base bag, and Novak fouls another one down the third baseline.
Hanging in there, Hudson just trying to chip at those breaking pitches. That's the 6th breaking ball that he's seen.
You got to wonder if that's part of the scouting report on Hudson Novak, that he likes to hit the ball up the middle with both the shortstop and the second baseman shading very closely to the second base bag, leaving 2 huge holes on either side of the infield as Novak will call time.
DeBerry flashing the signs. I doubt that he would have anything going with Kiefer running. You don't want to run into an out here in the first inning.
2-2 one more time. No, it'll be a step off by Hallman, and it'll look Kiefer back to the second base bag.
Not a great big lead out there for Troy Kiefer, but he's making them think about it.
Now the 2-2, inside tight, it caught him. It looked like it caught Novak on the shoulder.
I think it did, but they're saying no. It hit him. I'm sure that it hit him.
The ball caromed away from the catcher Morelli. If the ball didn't hit him, Kiefer could have moved up to third base.
Definitely hit him, but home plate umpire did not make a call. They're going to call in the base umpires, and now we're going to have a conference.
Well, that hurts Laurel Highlands in 2 ways. It's either a ball and Kiefer can move up to third, or it hits Novak and it puts runners on first and second, and they are going to say it caught him in the shoulder.
Right. Definitely, if it would have not have hit him, it went back to the halfway to the backstop. There's a lot of room behind home plate here, and that would have easily allowed Kiefer to go down to third, but they do get it right, and it's a hit batsman now with 2 men on. Brings up Dom Peroni.
So Dom Peroni, the .412 hitter. with two Mustangs out there, runners on first and second, Novak and Kiefer still one away in the bottom of the first. Holman home, another breaking ball down low for ball one. This half inning also being brought to you by Tim Mahoney, state representative in District 51.
Straight away in the outfield for the Bridgers.
1-2, another breaker that goes outside. You've got 2-0 the count now on Peroni.
Holman definitely trying to stay out of the middle of that plate.
Well, you got to think he's got to bring Dom something here to hit right here with two runners on already. You can't afford to go down 3-0 to Peroni. This time a fastball that comes in tight and it gets away from the catcher Morelli. Kiefer's going to move up to third. Thought about coming home. He'll stop 90 feet away. Hudson Novak also moves up.
Call that a pass ball inside and high, but definitely playable there by Morelli. And that ball goes back to the backstop, and that's a good 25, 30 yards behind home plate, and certainly would have allowed Kiefer a thought to bring him in, and now they're going to intentionally walk Peroni.
So Peroni put on first to load the bases. Now the double play in order for the Bridgers. And we're going to get a meeting on the mound.
They're going to talk about it with the bases loaded now and just one out. Quick conference is more or less trying to settle the team down there and tell Holman it's early. Just do what you've done all year. Brings up Zach Uhazy with the bases loaded and one out here in the bottom of the first.
So the Bridgers, middle infield will be a double play depth. The corners in just past the bags. Both corners playing in front of the runner. First pitch to Uhazy goes outside for ball one.
And Holman gumps with the windup, so that's going to allow Kiefer to come down the line a good long way. Anything that gets past Morelli will allow Kiefer to score again.
1-0. That one down in the dirt, blocked by Morelli. But now another 2-0 count and a great hitter's count for Zach Uhazy.
You hate to say that Coach DeBerry would give him the take because these batters have been so aggressive, but probably a good spot. But there's a pop-up in the infield. Well, it's in the outfield.
Goes out to the center fielder, Fekovic. He'll make the catch. Tagging and scoring will be Troy Kiefer. And the Mustangs with an early 1-0 lead in the bottom of the first. An RBI sacrifice fly for Zach Uhazy gets the job done.
Brings in Troy Kiefer. When he first hit that, I thought that was going to be playable in the infield. Looked like the infielders were looking up at it, but it carried well out into center field. More than enough distance to allow Kiefer to tag and come home with the first run of the game.
Laurel Highlands manufactures a run in the bottom of the first, and now Rich Pish takes a first pitch breaking ball on the outside corner for strike one. Pish hitting .366 on his senior campaign for the Mustangs. It's Novak off second. Peroni off the first base bag. And Pish will foul the 0-1 away.
A couple different breaking balls that Holman brings. That's more of a sharply breaking curveball, and he has a slider that he deals to the outside part of the plate. That one just snaps off right as it gets to home plate. Pish was lucky to get a piece of that one.
I think we've seen one fastball at him so far, and that was the inside pitch that Morelli missed to Peroni. As time called before the pitch. 0-2 count on Rich Pish, 2 down in the bottom of inning number 1. Mustangs with an early 1-0 lead.
Good batter's eye out there in center field. The green foliage.
The 0-2 popped up to center field. Fekovic after it. And he'll make the catch to retire the side, but not before the Mustangs are able to manufacture one run on one hit. So Laurel Highlands, after 1 inning of play, lead the Ambridge Bridgers 1-0. It's a law firm of Radcliffe and Diaz High School Sports Day on 590 WMBS, the MSA Sports Network, and the South Union Township Sports Network.
Here we go,
has the shortstop, number 18, Austin Walker.
Welcome back on 590 WMBS, the MSA Sports Network, and the South Union Township Sports Network. Top of the second inning, Gary Frankhauser has it.
Austin Walker steps in, takes strike one from Luke Paul. Walker, the shortstop, made a nice play in the bottom of the first inning to retire Lucas Boyle, the leadoff hitter. Here's the 0-1 pitch from the windup. Swing and a miss, strike two.
Not a single ball to this point thrown. Only 8 pitches deep, Luke Paul, but he's been all over the strike zone, hasn't missed anywhere yet. And on the other side, 22 pitches is what it took in the first inning for Travis Holman to get out of it.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. On the outside corner, looking, strike three. So the first strikeout of the game for Luke Paul. Brings up number 34, Jacob Marotti, the first baseman for the Bridgers. He's a big boy. Looks like about 6'4", about 230, maybe 240.
Marotti, the senior for the Bridgers. 246 hitter on his senior campaign.
Ball starts him on the inside corner with a fastball and a strike. This half inning being brought to you by Peroni Personal Care Home in Uniontown, Pennsylvania. Peroni Personal Care Home. Here's a pitch, swing and a miss, strike two. Took something off of that fastball. Changeup looked like he pulled the string on it a little bit, had him way out in front.
I know it's only 11 pitches in, Gary, but the beautiful thing Luke Paul's doing right now, he's not just mixing his pitches, he's mixing his locations perfectly.
There's a looper over towards the Mustang dugout that'll be just out of play, catching the top of the dugout. Had him reaching for that one. Little curveball on the outside part of the plate. Still 0-2.
But he's keeping these Ambridge hitters off balance early on. There's no way to tell where the pitch is going to be when it comes out of Luke Paul's hand or what he's going to be throwing. We've seen him mix that curveball, the changeup, the fastball, all over the strike zone.
Hides the ball well, too. Here's a fastball. That's a little bit high. Tried to get him to chase that heater up high.
First one he's lost today, too. It's the first ball thrown by Luke Paul, 13 pitches into his outing.
That was a good waste pitch, though. 0-2. Rocks and deals, curveball, foul tip, and Uhazy unable to hold on to that. Catches the left shoulder of the home plate umpire. He's going to walk that one off. Count remains 1-2. Big crowd here. A lot of Mustang fans making their way down here to Upper St. Clair for the first round playoffs of the WPIAL. Looking at their first seeded Mustangs trying to advance here in the WPIAL playoffs. One out here in the top half of the second inning. Mustangs with a 1-0 lead. Luke Paul on a 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike three on the outside part of the plate. No chance for Marotti to reach that one. He just waved at it for strike three. So 2 strikeouts in the inning. Brings up the center fielder. The center fielder, number 25, Alex Fedkovich. He'll bat from the left side.
First left-handed batter we've seen from either side, coming in the 6th man in the Bridgers lineup.
You going with Fedkovich or Fedkovich?
I was going with Fedkovich.
All right, I like that better anyway. Looks at strike one on the inside corner.
The center fielder, a .283 hitter on the season for the Ambridge Bridgers.
Luke Paul nibbling on those corners. Here's the 0-1 to Fedkovich, and that's just a little low. 1-1.
Only a sophomore Fedkovich. A much more balanced lineup when you look at the grade level for everybody throughout the Bridgers lineup. They have quite a few seniors, then 5 or 6 juniors, and 4 or 5 sophomores on the roster as well.
1-1 pitch, fouled straight back over our heads into the parking lot. I parked far enough away. I know, want to make sure I don't get one of those foul balls. One 1-2 pitch on the way. There's a drive up the middle. To his right is Zukulkowski. Throw on to Pillar for the 3rd out of the inning. Zukulkowski, nice play, ranging to his right. 3 up, 3 down in the top of the second. For the Ambridge Bridgers, they do not score. We'll go to the bottom of the second with the Mustangs leading 1-0 here on WMBS, the MSA Sports Network, and the South Union Township Sports Network. Back for the bottom half of the second inning. Due up for the Mustangs, Garrett Kopich, Chad Pillar, and Dan Zukulkowski to face Travis Holman here in the bottom of the second with the Mustangs leading 1-0. There's a pitch, a little off speed, straight one that time looked like, but pulled a string on the outside corner for strike one.
You didn't get a clean look at the number, but late in the bottom of that first inning, Ambridge already had the bullpen working.
Here's the 0-1 curveball. That just misses. Good pitch that time by Holman. Doesn't get the call. It's 1-1.
Kopich, .395 is average on his senior campaign for the Mustangs.
Curveball just misses on the outside part of the plate this time. 2-1. Holman looks over to the dugout like, what do I have to do to get a call here? But it is outside.
A lot of singles on the year for Garrett Kopich, but 2 doubles, his only extra base hits.
As we said, the Mustang lineup still potent here in the 7th, 8th, and 9th positions. 2-1 pitch on the way. That one's high and outside, 3-1.
.26 pitches in already for Travis Holman.
And we're just starting the bottom of the second. There's one high and inside for ball 4. So leadoff runner on for the Mustangs will bring up Chad Pillar, number 25, the first baseman for the Mustangs. And all of these Mustangs will follow the direction of Coach DeBerry. And you might see a bunting opportunity here for Pillar. Here he squares around, and there's a bunt back up to the pitcher. Holman only play to first. So Pillar does get the job done. Sacrifice bunt moves Kopich over to second base with just 1 out, and that'll bring up Dan Zukulkowski.
Not exactly where you want that bunt to be, right back to the pitcher, but he still gets the job done. I think Holman would have had time if he would have turned and fired to second base. He could have had a chance to get Kopich at the second base bag, but taking the sure out at first instead and giving Zukulkowski the chance to drive in the RBI.
I think the fact that he had to go towards first base, had his back to the play, so he didn't want to take any chance, didn't even look at the runner. There's a curveball that breaks in on the inside corner for strike one to Zukulkowski.
.275 hitter, Dan, on the season.
Has really put the bat on the ball, though. Had a bit of bad luck early in the season, but lately has been clutch for the Mustangs.
2 doubles, a home run, and 11 RBIs.
There's a shot into right field, gets by the first baseman, and that'll bring Kopich around. Play at the plate, not in time, cut off before the ball gets to home plate by the pitcher Holman. So Zukulkowski with the RBI single in the space between first and second. Seeing eye single brings around Garrett Kopich for the second run for the Mustangs.
A beautiful piece of hitting by Dan, too. Didn't try to do too much with it. Went with where the pitch was thrown on the outside part of the plate, slapped it the other way. That huge hole still there between first and second base, and just past the outstretched arms of Jacob Marotti into right field.
He took a dive for it, but wasn't able to come up with that one. And the right fielder, Kevin Holman, had to come a long way to get to that ball. By the time he did, Kopich was rounding third to score easily, posting the Mustangs out now to a 2-0 lead. Boyle will step in for his second appearance, looks at ball 1 low and in the dirt. So good fundamental baseball there by the Mustangs. Leadoff runner on by way of the walk. Pillar with the sacrifice bunt, and Zukulkowski with the RBI single.
Doing whatever you have to do to manufacture a run.
Boyle squares around, but I think he had to take sign on that. as he pulled back and took strike one.
Luke 0 for 1 today, a ground out to the shortstop, Austin Walker, in his leadoff plate appearance for the Mustangs.
1-1 pitch, grounder to short, and that's in the hole. Zukowski will have to stay at second. So Lucas Boyle, a four-hopper between third baseman Trey Thomas and shortstop Austin Walker.
Next up for Laurel Highlands, the shortstop.
Puts runners at first and second with still 1 out in the inning.
A perfect time to put on the hit and run with 2 away. You have Walker shading towards the second base bag once he saw Zukowski on the move. And Boyle didn't have to hit it hard, just had to put it right through the hole. Walker almost got to it, just past his outstretched glove. What a beautiful piece of hitting and a perfect call by Coach Scott DeBerry.
Kiefer coming to the plate after having a ringing double in the first inning. Looks at off-speed curveball for strike one. Kiefer checking down with Coach DeBerry at third. Coach Smith over there at first. 0-1 pitch from the stretch. That one's low and outside. 1-1.
On something that you don't see from a lot of catchers at the high school level, Vinny Morelli has done a very good job of blocking the pitches low in the dirt. He slid with that one to his right, keeping it in front of him. He's got great technique down there to make sure he blocks all those balls that get down. We've seen him struggle a little bit, though, with the high ones.
I love seeing that, being a former catcher. 1-1, curveball. That one breaks in nicely at Kiefer bailing out. Runs the count to 1-2.
Bullpen active once again now for the Bridgers, and this time up in it, it's number 10, Nick Campalong.
1-2 pitch. Checks the runners. There's a shot to deep left field. Going back, and can't get it. It one hops the fence. Coming in to score with Zukowski. Coming around to third is Boyle. So Kiefer with his second double in as many innings brings in the third run for the Mustangs. That ball was hit well, deep to left field, 330 down the line. No chance out there for Jared Kennard as he was on his horse from the get-go. And that ball just one hop to left field fence for the second double by Troy Kiefer.
And that would have easily plated 2 runs with 2 outs, but with only 1 out, both runners had to hold and see if the left fielder Kennard would be able to get to it. Now they're going to intentionally walk Hudson Novak.
To load the bases once again, that's going to bring up Dom Peroni. And you go from
Next up for the Mustangs,
strong to stronger, Novak to Peroni.
Well, just as much power in Dom Peroni as Hudson Novak, but his average a few clicks higher than Novak's.
Still just 1 out in the inning. Ambridge playing the percentages. Shortstop and second, back at double play depth as Peroni looks at strike one on the outside corner. Up at first and third, looking for the play at the plate. Mustangs have put the bat on the ball so far here in the first 2 innings. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Peroni. That's on the inside corner for strike 2. So Holman ahead of Peroni here.
No taken here now. I would bump Dom, expect to see something down in the dirt.
Put it in play somewhere. Time called. Catcher called timeout that time. So Morelli didn't like the situation, called timeout. Peroni facing an 0-2 count with bases loaded, 1 out. 3-0 Mustangs, bottom half of the second. Now we have another stoppage of play as Peroni digs back in. Here's the 0-2 pitch, and fouled off the right side this time as Dom protects with the 0-2 count.
Like a breaking ball in the inside half. Just got in on his hands a little bit, but a nice job to just spoil it away.
You're the Mustangs, you almost have to look breaking ball first. If he comes with the straight ball, adjust to that. Kind of opposite of what you're normally doing up there at the plate. That one's low and outside for ball 1. Another nice play there by Vinny Morelli as he had to go a good 3 feet out to his right and block that one. One and 2 now to Peroni. Sacks are juiced for the Mustangs. Another timeout. A little difficult getting his footing in there is Peroni. Here's a pitch. Curveball called, strike 3. Holman gets the call on that one. Looking as Peroni will go down for the second out of the inning and bring up Zach Uhazy. A sacrifice fly for Zach in the first inning. Now Zach is going to have to earn the RBI with a base hit, as Holman will again work from the windup.
So far, walking Hudson Novak paying off for the Bridgers.
Zach a little over anxious on that slow breaking ball, fed to him by Travis Holman. Holman shaking off signs. 0-1 pitch, swing and a miss, strike 2.
That's where he's had his successes, on the outside part of the plate. Any of those breaking balls inside, Mustangs have been able to turn on him. It was a breaking ball on the inside half that Kiefer launched out into left field.
He'll try to get Zach to chase this time. That one's in the dirt, so good hold up there by Zach Uhazy.
And now the concern for the Bridgers is going to be that pitch count as well for Holman, up to 45.
Outfield shallow and straight away for the Bridgers. Opportunity here for Zach, and he's going to call timeout. So a lot of delays being called.
Calling a balk.
He did. Wow. I think Zach called timeout first, and then he broke his hand. So they called the time. They did call the balk, and that's going to score another run for the Mustangs and make it 4-0. Little bit of a controversial play, and they're going to talk it over. They may change this, as clearly Zach Uhazy was calling timeout, but the umpire did not grant the timeout. And thinking that he did, Travis Holman just broke his hands, and that is a balk if there's no timeout called. Let's see what the umpires come up with.
This is why I need to write in pencil. They do this too much if they're going to change this call.
They are going to change it. No, they aren't.
Nope.
It's a balk.
And Sean Holman's going to be put on an extremely short leash here, as he's still having words with the home plate umpire.
So that's going to bring in Dan Zukulkowski with the fourth run. I'm sorry, that's Boyle with the fourth run. Zukulkowski having scored on the Kiefer double. Here's the pitch. There's a looper to shortstop. Going back into shallow left field is Austin Walker to make the catch for the third out of the inning, but not before the Mustangs put up 3 here in the bottom of the second. Now lead 4-0. We'll go to the top of the third on WMBS, the MSA Sports Network, and the South Union Township Sports Network on the law firm of Radcliffe and Diaz High School Sports Day on WMBS. Welcome back for the top half of the third inning. Here's Daniel Wallace.
7-8-9 due up for the Ambridge Bridgers. Travis Holman, Noah Kronkonko.
That's a tough one.
And they've got a few of those on here, too, when you look at it. Michael Meller, as well as Luke Paul out on the mound in this half inning, being brought to you by Ford of Uniontown, Route 40 West, located on top of the hill across from Walmart. Travis Holman, the .278 hitter, takes the first pitch from Luke Paul and grounds this one to third. Right there for it, Peroni. He'll throw across to Chad Pillar for out number 1.
1 pitch, 1 out. We think that the Ambridge Bridgers might want to make Luke work a little bit more.
It's only his 19th pitch of the game. Now Kronkonko. He'll step into the batter's box, the left-handed hitting Kronkonko. .291 on the season is the second baseman. Ball out of the windup, first pitch. And this one's flared out in the left field, coming in after it, and making a beautiful diving catch. Rich Pish lays out for it straight ahead.
Unbelievable catch there by Rich Pish. That ball just maybe 30 yards out into left field, and he had to run to his right and just laid out straight, making the catch. The third base umpire making sure he held on for the beautiful diving catch by Rich Pish.
And 2 pitches, 2 outs for Luke Paul. And now if you're Michael Meller, you almost have to just take a pitch here, and he grounds this one over the head of Chad Pillar at first, but Zukowski throws on to Luke Paul. It's wide. And this one will go all the way to the backstop. So Meller, he'll go up to second base and stop there. But Luke Paul was looking at a 3-pitch inning.
That ball just tipped off the glove of Chad Pillar at first base. Zukowski really coming a long way to his left, made the play, but hurried the throw as Lucas Paul was covering at first base. Would have had him out. So
We'll have to keep the no-hitter intact.
I think we have to rule that an error on the throw.
So an E4 on Daniel Zukowski. This was a beautiful job by Zukowski to back up Pillar as he saw that chopper getting over his head.
Definitely had time to throw him out.
That rolls it back over to the top of the order. And Kevin Holman, 0 for 1 today with a weak little grounder back to Luke Paul on the mound in the first. So runner on second now is Michael Meller. And the first pitch, curveball on the outside corner for strike 1.
So runner in scoring position for Ambridge. Just the first runner for Ambridge, first batter over the minimum for Luke Paul.
Second pitch, this one sent out to center field. Hudson Novak after it, and he'll squeeze it for the third out of the inning. No problems for Luke Paul here in the top of inning number 3. He faces 4 batters and nothing across for the Ambridge Bridgers. The Mustangs still lead it 4-0 after 2.5. It's the law firm of Radcliffe and DS High School Sports Day on 590 WMBS, the MSA Sports Network, and the South Union Township Sports Network.
Good luck to the Mustangs from the South Union Township Supervisors, Rick Vernon, Jason Scott, and Robert Schiffbar.
We're back on 590 WMBS as the first pitch comes in to the leadoff man for this inning, Rich Pish, also on the MSA Sports Network, the South Union Township Sports Network. 47th pitch of the ball game for Travis Holman as that's a ball. Next pitch outside. It goes to 2-0.
This half inning being brought to you by Peachin's Pharmacy. Choose a pharmacy that provides service the way you like it. They accept all insurance providers and Medicare Part D insurance, match competitors' prices, and make new and transfer prescriptions easy.
Pitch grounds this one to third, and it's under the glove of Trey Thomas. A hard hit ball, but on the backhand, Trey Thomas couldn't handle it.
Have to rule that an error.
Mustangs, the designated hitter, number
25
22, Garrett
puts
Kopich.
Rich Pish on board.
Kopich, who walked in the last inning, came around to score for the Mustangs.
Pish lead off first. Kopich showing bunt, pulls it back for ball 1. 4-0, the Mustangs lead.
Athletic Director Mark John visiting us here in the press box.
You can't get away from that guy. He's everywhere. Another bunt shown by Kopich this time.
They're saying he
Called
went
strike.
after it.
So 1-1 the count to Garrett Kopich. On the bottom of inning number 3, Dan Wallace, Gary Frankhauser with you. Time called now at home plate by Garrett Kopich.
This might be a strategy that's being employed by the Mustangs. They're very routinely not allowing Holman to stand on the mound and freeze him at the plate.
Bunt shown again, this one a strike across. And it goes to 1-2. So now Kopich, he's got to be swinging away. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
You never know. Coach DeBerry might tell him, hey, you had 2 opportunities to put that down and looked at 2 of them. But they're going to let him swing. That's inside.
2-2 goes the count. 52 pitches now on the afternoon for Travis Holman. So if he can't retire the Mustangs quickly here in the bottom of the 3rd, this could be it for him.
Got to believe the bullpen pitchers are ready.
On the move is Pish. This one down in the dirt, can't be handled by Morelli. He blocks it, but lost it.
Kopich once again was trying to call timeout there, Daniel, but the umpire didn't grant it that time, and I think it's a little bit too many times going to the well there.
So stolen base for Rich Pish. He's in scoring position now, and a full count on Kopich. He'll send this one out into left field right there for Jared Kennard. He'll squeeze it for out number 1.
Good contact there by Kopich with 2 strikes, but right at the left fielder, Kennard. So Pillar will come to the plate with, I'm sorry?
Make that 0 for 0 today.
Yeah, sacrifice.
A sacrifice bunt in the 2nd inning.
Pish out there in scoring position.
So the first at-bat, 2nd plate appearance for Pillar as he takes a strike on the inside corner, another breaking ball. The Mustangs with a couple runs here in the bottom of the 3rd can take a real stranglehold on this game. 4-0 already up after 2. Next pitch, a ball outside, another breaker.
Ambridge outfield playing very shallow. And Pillar does have some power. We've seen that from him also this year.
A dead center field shot I remember earlier in the year against Bell Vernon.
Into the wind, as I recall.
This one a strike, looked like a little bit of two-seam movement on the fastball.
Yeah, that did look like it kind of tailed in.
So 2 balls and 1 strike to Chad Pillar. Rich Pish standing off the second base bag. This one fouled away.
Protective swing that time by Pillar, just reaching out and nipping it foul over to the right side.
That'll even it up at 2-2. Holman comes set at the belt. The 2-2 home. This one, another high fastball.
Mustang batters are leaning in, looking for those breaking balls, and he came with a fastball. Already caught Hudson Novak with one of those and just barely missed Pillar with that one.
1 out, the payoff pitch from Holman. Breaking ball, too tight.
That one almost caught him also.
I thought that should have been the payoff, didn't you?
That was
my count was
3
wrong,
and
apparently.
Now
it's 2. That'll be the payoff.
Now it's 3-2, yes.
So this time we have the 3-2 to Pillar. Down in the dirt, ball 4.
Good at bat there by Chad Pillar. Very patient, not giving in to the off-speed curveballs by Travis Holman, and Zukulkowski will step in with already an RBI single to his credit.
Pish off second. Chad Pillar off the first base bag. First pitch to Zukulkowski. This one's fouled back. Just got on top of it to foul it back to the backstop.
Lucas Boyle on deck. Zukulkowski aggressive at the plate, though, swinging at that first breaking pitch that he saw from Holman.
Set at the belt. The 0-1 home, breaking ball. Zukulkowski ducking underneath of it, but it breaks into the zone for strike 2.
Just 1 out.
Two from Holman. Another breaker. Zukulkowski grounds this one towards short. Walker can't get it. It'll move everybody up 90 feet. It's stopping at the third base bag is Rich Pish. as it barely made its way onto the outfield grass before Jared Kennard got to it.
That was just what I was going to say. The left fielder, Kennard, fielded that when no more than 10 feet into the outfield grass, as that ball just took 5 seconds to get through the infield.
So that loads him up for the third consecutive inning for the Laurel Highlands Mustangs. And it brings up the leadoff man, Luke Boyle. His third at bat in 3 innings. He's got a ground out to shortstop and a single and a run scored on the ledger, as that one comes across to him for strike one.
So curiously also, Ambridge will stay back in double play depth at short and second, already trailing 4-0. Not even really up at third.
This one down in the dirt, 1-1. That is a little curious there, as the first baseman, Jacob Marotti, is in past the first base bag, but third baseman Trey Thomas staying back, even if not behind the third base bag. Pitch high.
What do you have Holman at now?
That puts him up to 65 pitches.
In the third inning, just 1 out.
2-1 coming to Boyle. An off-speed pitch that drops down into the lower part of the strike zone. Count goes to 2-2. Base is still full of Mustangs. Pish off third, Pillar off second, and Zubulkowski off the first base bag. 2-2. Strike 3 call. Boyle frozen on the breaking ball, and he had no complaint about that one as it came right across the heart of the plate, but buckled him. He set down on strikes.
Number 5, Troy Kiefer.
Kiefer will step in. Doubled in the first and doubled in the second for 2 RBIs already here on the evening.
That's only the first punch out on the day for Travis Holman, as Kiefer looks at a curveball inside.
And him bailing out that time also.
It's called strike 1 on the inside half. The 0-1. That one down a bit low into the dirt.
Troy a little anxious up there. Feet are a little bit active this at bat. This needs to hang in there and drive it right back up the middle.
1-1. Outside and away. Outside and low make that. It's 2-1. Kiefer looking for something good to hit again. He's already driven 2 balls well. One to the right field wall, one in the gap between the left field wall, and he sends this one to third. Thomas will pick it up, and he'll just step on the third base bag to retire the side. So the Mustangs load them up for the third consecutive inning. This time, nothing across. 1 hit for the Mustangs in the bottom half of the third. We go to the top of the fourth. It's 4-0 Mustangs on a law firm of Radcliffe and Diaz High School Sports Day on 590 WMBS, the MSA Sports Network, and the South Union Township Sports Network.
Your sports team is vastly inferior. That simple fact is plainly obvious to see. We're gonna kick your collective posterior. Of course you realize we're speaking figuratively. Our stats are thoroughly impressive. Our coach really has a vital touch. Our players are fast and strong and brave, and your guys, not so much.
Top of the fourth with Bridgers, Kennard, Thomas, and Walker due up, and Gary Frankhauser has it.
Lucas Boyle facing just 1 more than the minimum so far. Kennard looks at ball 1, low and inside. There's a story.
And that's only pitch number 24 for Luke Paul.
Does not lead him off with a strike. 1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 1-1.
Well, one thing can be said about these Ambridge hitters, they have been aggressive, not trying to get deep into counts with Luke Paul, because he's shown so far this season that if you get deep into a count with him, he's going to finish you off.
Here's the 1-1 pitch. There's a 3-hopper down to Peroni. Running play over to Pillar, and he's safe as Pillar was drawn off the bag. Tough play there for Don Peroni. Had to come charging well in the grass infield. And as he was running, just threw a little bit on the home plate side of first base, pulling Chad Pillar off the bag. So we'll have to rule that an error on Peroni. putting the leadoff runner on for the Bridgers.
And that one was close.
Batting for the Bridgers,
Pillar did
third
about all he
baseman,
could to keep
number
his
3,
foot on the
Trey
bag
Thomas.
there. That's a very, very tough play for Dom Peroni, coming in, throwing off balance.
Trey Thomas, the third baseman, looks at a curveball for strike one.
0 for 1 today, Trey Thomas, a ground out. The shortstop, Kiefer, back in the first inning.
And Luke would welcome another one of those ground balls. There it is. One hopper onto Zukulkowski and over to first for the double play. Beautiful play by the Mustang defense. A hard shot to the right side of Troy Kiefer. Looked like that ball was going into left field all the way, but Troy Kiefer just snagged it, flipped it over to Zukulkowski, who turned the double play.
He's an incredibly slick fielding shortstop, Troy Kiefer. All of his weight going out towards the third base bag, throws it off balance, a perfect strike to Zukulkowski, who throws it on to Chad Pillar. 6-4-3, roll it up. And just like that, nothing going again for the Bridgers.
Breaking pitch now to Austin Walker in the dirt for ball one. As you said, Daniel, amazing how Kiefer just threw that perfect strike to Zukulkowski, moving far to his right. Dan just making the play and turning the double play. There's another grounder to Kiefer. Up with this one, on to first, and that'll do it. First runner on base via error erased by the double play.
And another 7-pitch inning for Luke Paul.
Unbelievable. So no runs again for Ambridge. We'll go to the bottom half of the fourth inning. It's Laurel Highlands 4 and Ambridge nothing on WMBS, the MSA Sports Network, and the South Union Township Sports Network.
Here we go, Mustangs, here we go. 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 Who are you rooting for?
We're back for the bottom of the fourth inning. Mustangs leading 4-0. And due up for the Mustangs, Hudson Novak, Don Peroni, and Zach Uhazy. Hudson not an official at bat yet here this afternoon. Hit by a pitch in the first and intentionally walked. Hits the first pitch, a little roller over to second base, and a one-pitch, one-out occurrence for Ambridge.
Next up for the
That was
Mustangs,
Kronkoko
third
to
baseman, number 14,
Marati on the play. One quick out here in the fourth inning will bring up Don Peroni.
And Dom so far today, a walk, strikeout looking in the second for his 2 plate appearances.
Holman still on for Ambridge here in the fourth, and he still throwing breaking balls as that curveball comes in for strike one. That arm's got to be like a rubber band, Daniel. All those breaking pitches, he's just snapping them off. There's another one, and that's hit deep into left center field gap, way back. That's going to get all the way to the wall. Peroni will stand up, cruising into second base with a one-out double.
Another beautiful piece of hitting by the Mustangs. They're driving everything.
Any
deep
other
into left
ballpark,
field.
that's got to be out of here, Daniel.
it's-
That's deepest part of the field.
That's
Probably
easily
about
gone.
390 out there.
That's easily gone at the high school. The dimensions at the Laurel Highlands High School, not very deep at all. And that one's easily over the left center field fence there. But Peroni, he'll settle for that one-out double.
Brings up Uhazy, sacrifice fly and an RBI in the first, and popped up to short in the second. Looks at ball one in the dirt. Good block again there by Morelli. He's done yeoman's work back there, and he's almost like a knuckleball catcher with Holman out there. All those breaking pitches really has to be on his game. Uhazy looking at the 1-0 pitch. That one's in the dirt. 2-0.
Now up to 75 pitches is Travis Holman. He got a beautiful start to this inning with just 1 pitch and 1 out. Hudson Novak after the first pitch. But now right back into trouble with another runner in scoring position. And Laurel Highlands has done Ambridge some favors. They've stranded 10 runners
They have.
through the first making 9 runners for the first 3 innings.
There's a curveball in for a strike, so 2-1 the count now to Zach Uhazy.
Stranded the bases loaded in all 3 of their first at-bats.
From the stretch, Holman, that's low and outside, and gets away from Morelli this time, and that'll allow Peroni to easily get into third, so that's a wild pitch. No chance for Morelli on that one. So now at third base with just 1 out. Different circumstance for Zach Uhazy. This half inning being brought to you by Russ Blejo, your local Allstate insurance agent. Remember, you're in good hands with Russ Blejo and Allstate. 3-1 now to Zach Uhazy. That one's strike 2. It does not matter what place in the count Holman has. He'll throw that breaking ball and change up anytime. Here's a pitch, and there's a shot to short. And play will be made over to first, so a hard hit ball down to shortstop, Austin Walker. No chance for Peroni to advance. Good base running there by Dahm, as he saw that the ball was very well hit. And even though Walker was not playing up, he was in the dirt part of the infield, the ball was hit too hard to allow him to advance. So 2 outs now for Rich Pish. Here's a pitch to Pish, low and outside, ball 1. Pish trying to bring in Dom Peroni down there at third. Holman shaking off 2 signs. Now will come with the curveball, and that's high and behind Rich Pish. Had to duck inside to have that ball go behind his helmet.
You'd almost have to think at this point this would be the last inning for Holman, already up to 80 pitches.
Although at this point of the season, I'm sure the Ambridge staff is going to go with him as long as he can. There's a looper into right field, and coasting over to make the catch for the final out of the inning is Kevin Holman. So the Mustang strand, Peroni at third, come up empty. Will go to the top of the 5th with the Mustangs still leading 4-0 on WMBS, the MSA Sports Network, and the South Union Township Sports Network on the law firm of Radcliffe and Dehas Sports Night. Welcome back. Here's Daniel Wallace for the top half of the 5th inning.
Marotti, Fetkovich, and Holman due up for the Bridgers to face Luke Paul. His first pitch is a low strike fouled away by Jake Marotti. Only pitch number 31 on the afternoon as we're into the 5th inning for Luke Paul this half inning. Being brought to you by the Centers for Rehab Services, the leader in physical therapy. Just visit physical therapist Jim Burns on Wayland Smith Drive or call 724-437-7500. This one grounded away from Marotti. That's the Center for Rehab Services. Relief is closer than you think.
2 quick strikes now to Marotti. One of the 2 strikeout victims for Lucas Paul here this afternoon.
The 0-2 for Paul. Did he go around? Yes, he did. Another strike up for Luke Paul. The second time Marotti's been set down on strikes, and that's strikeout number 3 for Luke on the afternoon.
Brings up Alex Fetkovich. He grounded to second in the second.
Center fielder, a sophomore, Alex Fetkovich. That's the first pitch from Luke Paul on the outside corner, strike one, and he just continues to pound the strike zone.
It's impressive. Very pleasant afternoon here at Upper St. Clair.
The 0-1, fouled away. Fetkovic got a piece of that one, sent it back into the backstop.
Once again, Lucas Paul out in front, 0-2.
And the differential in pitches is just astounding. 81 so far for Travis Holman. That was pitch number 35 for Luke Paul. On the outside edge, ball one outside. Just missed, did Luke Paul. He was looking to get a call on the outside corner, but
or a chase.
Was not obliged.
Bell Vernon team filtering in. They're up next here at Upper St. Clair.
1-2. This one's sent into the hole between first and second. That'll be a base hit for Alex Fetkovic.
And we have that as the first base hit, although there were a couple questionable opportunities for Ambridge, but that's definitely a base hit.
The pitcher, number 16, Travis Holman.
So Fetkovic gets a single, and it brings up the pitcher, Travis Holman, 0 for 1 with a ground out to third base back in the third inning.
Good at bat there by Fetkovic, just waited for the fastball.
First pitch, a breaking ball that goes away from Luke Paul for ball one.
Holman checking down to third base at this point, 4-0. I would doubt that he would be sacrificing.
And already one away in the inning.
Mustang straight away in center field and deep in the infield.
Next pitch, high fastball, swung on and missed by Holman for strike one. Fetkovic, the short lead off the first base bag. Pitch comes in, fastball inside on the inside corner. Luke Paul gets another looking strike, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes now to Holman.
Grandstand's really filling up here now with the next fans coming in and large contingent of Mustang fans.
1-2, high and tight. To 2-2 goes the count.
Good pop on that fastball that time by Luke Paul.
And Uhazy keeping a close eye on Fetkovic after every pitch down there at the first base bag. He has a look down. He's faked a couple throws already. Make it a third fake as that one comes in high and the count run full.
Fetkovic not getting much of a lead down there, so Zach just looking to try to sneak one in behind him maybe.
Full count, 1 out. Top of inning number 5, Laurel Highlands leads it 4-0. And a fastball, he just overpowered Holman. And he's set down on strikes for the 4th punch out of the afternoon for Luke Paul.
That's an important out for the Mustangs here in the 5th. Not allow a runner to get in scoring position.
And by no means, this is the 5th inning, but by no means is Ambridge out of this game, only down 4-0. That's a couple crooked numbers away from being right back into this.
No doubt about it. Mustangs need to maintain their concentration.
First pitch into Krakonko is high for ball 1.
Flew out to left field his first time up in the 3rd inning.
A huge hole. Not on the infield, but Luke Boyle playing well off the line. In right field with the left-handed batting Krakonko. As that pitch goes high and away for ball 2, and Uhazy will go out and have a talk with his pitcher, Paul.
Mustang scouting report definitely has Krakonko as a non-pull hitter.
Anything hit down that first base line, there's no chance, even with Luke Boyle's great speed, that he's going to get to it. He's standing, I'd have to say, right behind almost second baseman Daniel Zukowski, who's shading towards the second base bag. That's a fastball on the outside corner. It goes to 2-1.
Ambridge fans unhappy.
The rest of the infield on the left side straight up for the Mustangs. Swung on and missed by Krakonko. It goes to 2-2 with 2 away. Deuces Wild up on the scoreboard.
Lucas Ball looking to end any kind of a threat here in the 5th.
First to throw over to the first base bag. Fetkovic back in plenty of time. A loop shot down the right field line could spell a lot of trouble for the Mustangs. 2-2 swung on and missed. He got him. Third punch out of the inning. He strikes out the side, just not in order does Luke Paul. As the Mustangs escape the first real threat, first real base runner that the Ambridge Bridgers have had this afternoon. We head to the bottom of the 5th inning. It's still 4-0 Mustangs, and a law firm of Radcliffe and Diaz High School Sports Day on 590 WMBS, the MSA Sports Network, and the South Union Township Sports Network. Seven, 8, 9 due up as we come back. 4-0 Mustangs in the bottom of inning number 5. First pitch to Garrett Kopich on the outside corner for strike 1. Dan Wallace, Gary Frankhauser with you. Round 1 of the WPIAL Class AAA Baseball Playoffs. The 0-1 to Kopich. Down low from ball 1. 83 pitches now for Travis Holman. As after those first couple innings, Gary, his pitch count's still up there, but he's really taken better control of this game.
You're right about that, and the Mustangs need to definitely not sit on a lead at any point in any game, especially in the WPIAL playoffs.
Next pitch is strike, swinging strike from Kopich. It's 1-2, and now a breaking ball comes in and catches him. Just the jersey. So Kopich, he'll go down to the first base bag, and that's one thing you can't do if you're Travis Holman. You have a hitter down in the count, and you lose him with a hit by pitch.
This inning being brought to you by General Dentist Dr. Edward Wheatek. Dr. Wheatek, a fine sponsor of Laurel Highlands baseball.
First pitch now to Chad Pillar down in the dirt for ball 1.
We'll co-sponsor this inning with Tim Mahoney, state representative in the 51st District. How about that?
Oh. Ground ball sent to short. This is a double play ball. 6. Lost it at 4 on the transition. So they're going to say
out at second.
That Kopich is out at the second base bag. So they just get the 1, but they get the lead runner Kopich. Pillar on the fielder's choice.
Krakonko definitely had the ball at second base, was trying to make the transition for the throw to first and just fumbled it. So the out recorded at second base brings up Zukulkowski, 2 for 2 on the afternoon.
So Dan now with a runner at first. The first pitch to him outside, down low, and blocked in the dirt by Vinny Morelli. Count goes to 1-0. Chad Pillar with a short lead off the first base bag, and Zukulkowski will shoot this one into left field. It's going to get down in front of the left fielder, Kennard. Another base hit for Zukulkowski, his 3rd single of the afternoon. Now it's runners on first and second with just 1 away on the top of the order coming up for the Mustangs.
There you go, the 9th batter in the lineup, Dan Zukulkowski, 3 for 3 with an RBI.
So Luke Boyle will step back in with 2 Mustangs out there, a runner in scoring position. Luke is 1 for 3 today with a ground down, a strikeout, and a single and a run scored in the second.
Just froze him at his last at bat. Really had a good at bat going there, but Holman with that tantalizing curveball just had Lucas leaning.
First pitch from Holman. Another breaker that comes across for strike one. That one right down the heart of the plate. Boyle. You have to think with a high pitch count, very well may have had the take sign on.
Mustangs looking to add on here in the fifth.
0-1, another breaking ball. This one in tight. Count goes to a ball and a strike. A very important insurance run standing 180 feet away.
It's like being at a French restaurant for the Mustangs. It's good so far, just not enough of it.
The 1-1. Outside it goes to 2-1. With a couple runs across here, the Mustangs can feel very safe with that lead with Luke Paul on the mound. Another breaking ball. This one swung on. Boyle was ahead of it. Count goes 2 balls and 2 strikes. You'd have to think Paul has the complete game on the mind with only 2 innings left and only 47 pitches through 5 innings.
The umpire's admonishing some fans now to asking the game manager to correct some impolite comments that have been made. Is he asking them to be warned, or they are going to be removed?
I'll have to just wait and see. I don't see any security yet. 2-2 pitch. Just a little bit inside. A tough take for Luke Boyle there. But he runs the count full. And now he's going to stop play again as the home plate umpire because he's hearing more comments from the fans.
And they're going to have a warning, and he is not going to start play until we have comments made. He's going to stand there until someone removes these fans. Here comes security. They're going to see who the offending party is, and he's not going to start until his fan is removed.
I don't think I've ever seen this, though, before. The umpire just stopping play completely until a fan's removed, and I'm not exactly sure they know who it is.
Well, I think the umpire definitely knows who it is. And there they go. A little wave to the umpire on his way out. I've seen it at basketball. But really, rarely in a baseball game, the umpires normally have very short memories. But we're in high school baseball, and certainly not the place for unsportsmanlike conduct.
So we resume at a full count on Luke Boyle, 1 out. Runners on first and second. Payoff pitch, strike 3 called.
Froze him again.
Second consecutive at bat for Luke Boyle, but he just couldn't find the trigger on the breaking ball.
Next up for the Mustangs, the shortstop, number 5, Troy Keifer.
That's the third punch out of the day for Travis Holman. And now
big strikeout there with 2 men on and just 1 out.
Keifer, he now has the chance to drive in a run or 2 and put the Mustangs well ahead. This one grounded right to short. Walker, he'll throw onto the first base bag, and he got him. Just barely did he get Troy Keifer at first, but nonetheless, Travis Holman escapes potential danger.
Laurel Highlands after the inning, they scored no runs on 1 hit.
For the Laurel Highlands, 1 hit, nothing across. We head to the top of inning number 6. It's 4-0 Mustangs on a law firm of Radcliffe at Diaz High School Sports Day on 590 WMBS, the MSA Sports Network, and the South Union Township Sports Network.
sixth inning for the Ambridge Bridgers. The designated hitter, number 6, Mike Meller.
We're back at Upper St. Clair, top of the sixth. Mike Meller due up, and Gary Frankhauser has it.
Designated hitter Meller got on a controversial play. We had it listed as an error. Well, could have been a base hit as the ball was off of the first baseman's mitt into Zukulkowski's play, and the throw made wide to Lucas Boyle covering. So, well, could have been a base hit. Looks at strike, making the count 1-1.
This half inning being brought to you by the Uniontown Hospital, making a healthy difference in the lives they touch.
1-1 pitch. Lucas Paul to Michael Meller. There's a nubber down to third. Big hop for Peroni, and he'll throw it over. Got a little bit low on the throw. Kind of took something off of that, but did make the play over there at first as Chad Pillar had to stretch out for it. 1 out in the inning. That'll bring up the leadoff hitter, Kevin Holman, right fielder for the Bridgers. Grounded back to the pitcher in the first, flew out to center field in the third. From the windup on the outside corner, Lucas Paul leads him off with a strike once again.
And Paul's still in no trouble. 51 pitches for him through 5 1/3.
0-1 pitch, curveball, beautiful breaking pitch that time, making it 0-2. Opportunity now for Luke Paul to get Holman to chase one. Here's a curveball in the dirt. That's exactly what he tried to do. Good block there by Zach Uhazy. And Daniel, that's Uhazy behind the plate. Just a dynamic catcher, and if he's looking for play at the next level, that's probably his position.
That would be my guess as well. We've seen him do a little bit of pitching, but to me that spot's got to be his behind the plate. He is a very good pitcher as well, but you don't see many catchers at the high school level that have the ability to block the ball as he does, the ability to hit that he does, and the arm strength that he has to throw runners out.
2-2. Last pitch was a high fastball. Here's a pitch, and there's a dribbler down to first base, and a bad hop for Pillar off of the grass infield. Could not make the play, and that's going to put Holman on with 1 out. Got to rule that one in there.
Next up for the Bridgers, the left fielder, number 22, Jarrett Kennard.
Well, the one thing that Laurel Highlands can feel comfortable about with this is the fact that Luke Paul has been able to get out of situations with runners on base. Nothing has bothered him having runners aboard so far today, and you'd have to think that there's no chance that the ball's going in anybody else's hands.
As Jarrett Kennard steps in, looks at strike one.
That's only pitch number 55 for him today.
Flew out to right field in the first, on an error in the fourth to lead off. Now squares around a bunt, and he does, and they're going to let that roll foul and pick it up. Good play there by Peroni. Had to jump over it between his legs to make sure it did not hit him in fair territory. Allows it to go foul, so Kennard trying to bunt for a base hit there. They'll take runners any way that they can here in the top of the sixth, trailing 4-0. 1 out, runner on at first. 0-2 now to Jarrett Kennard. Here's a pitch, and fouled straight back over us as Kennard hangs in there.
Well, the great thing that the Mustang defense has done today, and Luke Paul, they've only had one base runner reach second base so far today, have the Ambridge Bridgers. They've had 3 guys reach first, but only 1 getting into scoring position.
There's a pitch, and there's a little looper over Luke Paul's head, and Zukulkowski will have to make the play, and he does. Guns it to first base. That ball just barely out of the reach of Luke Paul as he reached up to try to make the play. Zukulkowski had to come well in onto the grass infield and gunned it over to Pillar for the second out of the inning. Moving over to second on the play was Holman. So he's in scoring position for Trey Thomas, grounded to short and grounded into the big double play in the fourth. Put the bat on the ball both times hard. Curveball just a little bit low.
Now only the second runner to reach second base today. Mustangs have turned one double play. Beautiful turn from Kiefer to Zukowski across to Pillar.
There's a pitch. Did he go? No. Check swing. 2-0 now to Trey Thomas.
And this has been the problem for Ambridge. They've got no production out of the middle of that lineup today. 3, 4, and 5, Thomas, Walker, and Marotti, all 0 for 2.
Got a timeout call now. Luke Paul will step back. Mustangs not too concerned with holding Holman on there at second with 2 outs in the inning. Here's a pitch. There's a ground ball to Kiefer. Big hop for him. Running throw to Pillar for the 3rd out of the inning. Sure-handed Troy Kiefer with the assist. Mustangs able to strand Holman at second. Once again, no runs on no hits. 1 man left on base. After 5.5, it's Laurel Highlands 4, Ambridge nothing on the law firm of Radcliffe and Dehaas High School Sports Day on 590 WMBS, the MSA Sports Network, and the South Union Township Sports Network. Changing pitchers coming on is Nick Campalong. Do you have any numbers on him, Daniel?
We don't.
Yeah, this is the lack of statistics is amazing. But Nick Campalong, he looks like he's about a 6'3", tall drink of water, slender, right-hander.
It's number 10, Nick Campbell.
Well, I can give you some numbers on Travis Holman, though. How about that?
That would be good.
5 innings.
Hudson Novak steps in. Go ahead.
5 innings pitched for him, 96 pitches on the day. 4 runs, 3 of them earned. 1 of them came in on that balk.
First pitch from Campalong, high and outside. This half inning being brought to you by Ted Sova and Sons Auto Repair on the Atlas Road in Hopwood for all your auto body needs. There's a shot down to third. Nice play there by Thomas. He'll gun it over to first for the out. And that will be the first out of the inning. That'll bring up Dom Peroni.
The rest of those numbers on Holman. 5 walks for him. 2 of them, though, were hit by pitches, and 2 of them were intentional walks.
We got a new first baseman in, too, Daniel. Go ahead.
And 3 punch-outs.
Number 2, I believe, in at first base for Ambridge. Pick up that person here in a second. I think that's Brandon Venezia over at first base. As Peroni looks at strike 1. There's a shot into left field. Out of the reach of shortstop Austin Walker. Dom Peroni on with his second hit of the afternoon. Makes him 2 for 3.
Next up for the Mustangs, the catcher, number 9, Zach Uhazy.
So Zach Uhazy steps in.
Uhazy now with an opportunity. Peroni on at first. Uhazy with a sac fly in the first to score the first Mustang run. Popped up to short and grounded to short. His 3 at-bats. High and outside. Gun down to first and back in safely.
So an official 0 for 2 for Uhazy on the day.
Peroni.
One of the few Mustangs to not record a hit this afternoon.
We got a new catcher, too. I think that's Zach Morrow behind the plate for Ambridge. Just caught that on that throw. Number 23, Zach Morrow, getting an opportunity here in the 6th. Throw over, Peroni back in safely. Campalong, the 0-1 pitch to Uhazy. Open stance, right-handed hitter. There's a pop up to right field. Holman camped under it. Didn't have to move at all as Uhazy flies out to right for the second out of the inning.
Next up for the Laurel Highlands, the left fielder, number 24.
Rich Pish will step in, flew out to center field, on an error in the third, and flew out to right field in the fourth. Might see Peroni running here. There he goes. Throw down by Morrow, not in time, as that pitch was in for a strike on the inside corner.
Throw just a little bit up wide on the third base side of the bag.
Good recognition there by Coach DeBerry. Substitute catcher coming in, and 2 outs. Why not try to get Peroni in scoring position for Pish? There's a pitch on the outside corner. Rich could not pull the trigger. 0-2.
And you got to realize, too, if you're the hitters today, it's been a bit of a wide strike zone by the home plate umpires. So anything here on 0-2 you have to protect if it's anywhere close.
There's a pitch. Nubbed foul towards the Ambridge dugout on the third base side. So Rich will stay alive, 0-2. Mustangs with 1 in the first, 3 in the second, and that's been it so far. Still holding on to that 4-0 lead. Here's a pitch. That's high and outside. 1-2. Kopech on deck, hoping for an opportunity here in the 6th. From the stretch, time called.
I have to think a lot of the Mustangs, as long as they can hang on here today, we'll stick around and find out who they play after this. Chartiers Valley and Belle Vernon up next here at Upper St. Clair.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. That's inside, 2-2. Pish jackknifing out of the way of that one. Campbell trying to limit the Mustangs. There's a little roller down to third, and that went off his foot, so that's a foul ball. Off the instep of Rich Pish. He'll have to walk that one off. Came off his right foot and just rolled all the way down to third base, where Trey Thomas made the play, but instant foul ball call. 2-2, 2 outs. Runner on second, Dom Peroni. Rich Pish trying to find a way to bring him around. That ball's in the dirt, and Peroni's going to try to go to third, and he does. Morrow blocked it nicely, but it skipped out towards the first base line, and Peroni very alertly moves into third, will allow him to score much easily on anything that Rich Pish can get through the infield.
Ball able to squirt away just far enough down the first base line.
3-2 pitch. Foul ball again, as Pish had to wait on that one. Off-speed curveball by Campbell. Tried to full Pish on the 3-2 pitch. Campbell will work from the windup. Rocks and deals. There's a grounder to third. Trey Thomas, solid down there at third base for Ambridge. Throws on to first. 4 to the third out of the inning. Mustangs strand another one. We'll go to the top of the 7th. Mustangs holding on to a 4-0 lead on the law firm of Radcliffe and Dehas High School Sports Night on WMBS, the MSA Sports Network, and the South Union Township Sports Network. for the top of the 7th. Ambridge looking to try to extend this game. Here's Daniel Wallace.
Last chance for the Bridgers. 4, 5, and 6 due up. They start with Austin Walker with Luke Paul still out there, and his first pitch down low for ball 1. It'll be Walker. Then we did have 2 substitutions, so we'll have to see if it's straight substitutions. It'll be Brandon Venezia. The next pitch fouled away.
This half inning being brought to you by Republic Food Enterprises and the Fayette County Community Action Agency, along with the Kazmarski Funeral Home of Uniontown on Pennsylvania Avenue in Uniontown. Former Mustang Steve Kazmarski wishes Laurel Highlands the best in the WPIAL playoffs.
Next pitch inside from Luke Paul.
That didn't miss by much.
No, and that might just be exactly what the Ambridge Bridgers could have used. Just get it started anyway. All you need right now if you're Ambridge is base runners. 2-1 fouled away. Count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes on Austin Walker. Just got to keep the line moving at this point, Gary. You just got to find a way to get on base any way you can.
And on the other side, you got to work outs if you're the Mustangs any way you can.
One swing of the bat's not going to do you any good here. As Walker sends the 2-2 out into center field, back after it, Hudson Novak. And he'll make the catch for out number 1.
Positioned perfectly out there. Hudson Novak did have to stretch his legs a little bit, going back there just in front of the 400 mark in center field. Makes the catch easily for the first out.
And now Brandon Venezia will be the man that comes to the plate. As it was a straight substitution, he replaces Jacob Marotti, who finishes the day 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. First pitch to Venezia is fouled into the catching mid of Zach Uhazy for strike 1.
Uhazy getting the signals from Joe LaPresta over there in the Mustang dugout, pitching coach.
Another fastball swung on and missed again by Venezia. It's 0-2. Fetkovich on deck for the Bridgers. The 0-2. Fastball left well high, as Uhazy had to get up out of his crouch to catch it.
Mustang faithful on their feet here in the 7th inning.
One-two fouled away. Fetkovich will make the grab on deck. Count stays at a ball and 2 strikes, and Luke Paul a masterful outing. This will be pitch number 70 on the afternoon, so through 6 1/3 as that one's down low. It goes to 2-2.
Tough one to take there for Venezia.
Two pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Venezia goes down on strikes. That's punch out number 6. You have that 6?
I do.
I have that 6 as well.
Next batter for the Bridgers, the center fielder, number 25, Alex Fetkowski.
Now the last chance for the Bridgers, Alex Fetkovich. He'll step in 1 for 2 this afternoon, a single in the 5th.
Depending on how the official scorers rule, we either have 1 hit, being the Fetkovich's hit, or 3 hits, depending on the 2 plays, one down at third that Peroni made, and the one that tipped off of Chad Pillar's glove. We'll have to wait for the official scoring.
Fetkovich grounds this one to second base. Sukolkowski gathers it, throws on to Pillar at first, and that'll do it. A complete game shutout victory for Luke Paul as the Laurel Highlands Mustangs win their opening round WPIAL Class AAA playoff matchup by the final score of 4-0 over the Ambridge Bridgers. The Mustangs, they will move on and face the winner of Bell Vernon and Chartiers Valley. We'll take a break. We'll come back with some totals for you here. You're listening to Laurel Highlands Mustang Baseball on 590 WMBS, the MSA Sports Network, and the South Union Township Sports Network, a law firm of Radcliffe and Diaz High School Sports Day. Back now on the post-game show here on 590 WMBS, the MSA Sports Network, and the South Union Township Sports Network. And today we're going to make it the post-game show. So the post-game show is being brought to you by the Sprouse Insurance Group and agent David Hughes, located on at 217 West Main Street in Uniontown. Phone 724-437-9812 for the Sprouse Insurance Group. And really the story of this one, Gary's got to be Luke Paul. You don't get the offense that you normally get today from the Laurel Highlands Mustangs, well under their season average of output and runs and hits both. But Luke Paul, just another masterful performance on the mound.
We talked about that in the pregame, and the Mustangs just a little bit off stride facing that curveball pitching by Holman, and then Campalong coming along and basically throwing the same types of pitches. The Mustangs were able to come up with 4 runs, 1 in the first and 3 in the second. They had 8 hits. They did leave 13 men on base, so a couple more key hits would have really broken this game wide open. The Mustangs did commit a couple of inconsequential errors. On the Ambridge Bridgers side, no runs, as we've said. 2 hits and 3 men left on base. Depending on the official scoring, it may be 1 hit, could be 3 hits, but we'll have to defer to the official scores for that. But in any event, another masterful performance by Luke Paul. 6 strikeouts, went the distance, really limited his pitch count. He'll be available very soon after the next game if the Mustangs are able to move along. And they'll be facing the winner of this next game here at Upper St. Clair between the Belle Vernon Leopards and Chartiers Valley.
And on the other side, Travis Hallman, after he got off to a bit of a rocky start in the first 2 innings, held the Mustangs scoreless for the next 4. He really was able to collect himself. He just couldn't get anything on the offensive side.
You're right about that, but the Mustangs did leave the bases loaded twice. So, again, he was good when he needed to be, but the Mustangs did get those 4 runs early on. Luke Paul makes them stand up, and they move along in the WPIAL AAA playoffs.
Well, we'll take one more break, and we'll be back with a final wrap-up from Upper St. Clair here on a law firm of Radcliffe and Diaz High School Sports Day on 590 WMBS, the MSA Sports Network, and the South Union Township Sports Network.
Tonight's game was brought to you as a joint cooperative venture featuring Township Supervisors Bob Schiffbauer, Rick Vernon, and Jason Scott, Atlantic Broadband Cable, Armstrong Cable, and our friends at CUTV, Gary Smith and his staff. This has been Gary Frankhauser along with Daniel Wallace, Jerry Dupay on the camera as usual. Another South Union Township Sports Network presentation. Final score, Laurel Highlands 4, Ambridge nothing. The Mustangs move on in the WPIAL playoffs. Good night, everyone.